Welcome to NEXTGames Flashpoint series. Today, we'll be covering Kaon Under Siege on the Veteran difficulty, but this time using my Sith Assassin so that we can stealth past many of the enemies in our way. Now, even on this difficulty, you can normally complete this flashpoint in just 20 to 25 minutes, which makes it one of the quicker flashpoints to take on the Veteran difficulty. Now, I also recommend that you use a stealth character anytime you try to solo Kaon Under Siege, as not doing so can usually make the run take easily over an hour due to all the delays that can be experienced when fighting the fodder mobs on your path. Let's go into what's involved and what it is you'll experience that will slow you down when not stealthing. So for the first 7 minutes of the run or so, you just want to stealth and run through the map as you normally would. Occasionally you're going to encounter an enemy or a group of enemies that attack you despite you being stealth, but in general, you should be able to skip the majority of enemies. Now, most importantly, you will skip all but one of the infected mercenaries. Now, these are the fodder enemies that can be found throughout this map that will slow your run down substantially. They will use a constrict ability that will stun you for a total of 30 seconds. Now, your single CC breaking ability can get you free from this, but that infected mercenary is just going to go ahead and use it again 1 second later, and now your CC breaker will have been used, making it so you're still going to have to wait those 30 seconds. In addition, once the constrict ability wears off after those 30 seconds, he again will use it right on you again 1 second later. This makes it so you only can actually get your damage in 1 second windows every 30 seconds, obviously leading to how much this slows your run down. This makes it so you're easily killed by large groups of enemy during these large periods of stun, or it just slows your run down so much that it's just quite frustrating to even take it on. So you can see this ability being used on me right now in the one instance where you need to kill one of these infected mercenaries before the first boss. Now once you get here, find and search him out in this group and try to stun him and stall him for long enough to kill him. Now if you do happen to get stunned, use your CC breaking ability and use it to try and finish him off. Now if he's still alive at that time, you're going to need to wait the 30 seconds and then try and finish him off in the next 1 second period of time before he stuns you again. Once you get past him, the first boss is just ahead, where you're going to be taking on many of these infected mercenaries. However, you're provided with a way to deal with it during this boss in the way of this nearby cannon. Now you want to activate the explosives as you just saw me do, and then quickly hop into the cannon and start taking out any of the enemies that head your direction. There will be several waves of enemies that come at you from the two different directions, so be sure to continually swap back and forth between the two directions to make sure you're seeing all of the possible enemies in your field of view. Aim for the large groups of enemies first, and then take out any stragglers that you see. Now many waves of enemies will continue to come, so don't get off the cannon until you see the explosion finally go off on the wall behind you, and the waves of enemy have completely stopped. Now once that finally happens, hop off the cannon, re-stealth, and then keep heading through the zone for the next few minutes. Now as with the first section of the map, there will be a few sections or locations in this next part where you're going to get attacked even though you're stealth. Now on the plus side, there aren't any of those infected mercenaries, but some of the enemies do have a substantial amount of health, so it may take you a few minutes to get through this section. Now you should eventually reach a very large room where our next boss is currently lurking. Now if you'd like, this boss could just be attacked directly, and you can deplete all of his health with your weapon, but it's going to take a very long time due to his high defenses. To speed this along, you have a few options. The first is to click on the beacon that is right next to the boss at the start of the run. This will deploy some guns that will immediately start doing damage to the boss. However, the amount of damage they do isn't that much, and he can end up destroying both guns over time if you're not careful. Now the second mechanic that you can use to speed up this run dramatically is to pull him to one of the 4 corners of this large room. Now in each of these corners is a canister that when clicked on will explode and do considerable damage to the boss and reset any of the nasty buffs that he may have on him. You also want to be always ready for the boss to enter his rage mode. You will notice that he's entered this mode when he has spikes on his back. Now during this phase, he does increased damage and may end up killing you if you go straight at him. So this is a great time to try and pull him to the next canister while waiting for it to wear off. If you use these techniques, the fight should only take you a few minutes, and then you're ready to move to the third and final boss while stealthing through the rest of the zone. Now, as long as you stay stealth, you should be able to get all the way through this third section and to the final room without being detected. As you enter the final room, you will be attacked by several enemies. Make sure to not go too far into the room as to not aggro the boss at the same time. Take all of these low health enemies, and then you'll be able to take on the final boss that is actually 3 bosses at once. The 3 bosses are Commander Lagarth, Chakagak, and G-Larg. And that is also the order I suggest you kill them in. Now, after you kill each boss, a group of infected will enter the room and attack you. Now, you want to try to continue to get your damage in on the next boss that you're fighting in the list, while taking out all the adds with AoE damage. Now, when G-Larg gets low on health, he will grow in size and rage and become empowered. This is why we saved him for last. So what you want to do is save some of your big attacks for the end of this fight, so that you can unleash a lot of damage quickly and finish off the fight before he has any chance to unleash a lot of damage on you. Now, once all 3 are dead, you simply need to climb the ramps to the final cutscene and end the run. That's about all I need to go over on this run. Hopefully, this type of speed run is a nice change of pace to the sometimes lengthy runs that occur on these flashpoints. Thanks so much for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time.